Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for the week of January 26th. You have this unworthy card. It says, do you genuinely believe in your worthiness to attain the abundance you desire? You have this obligations card. It says you have some prior contracts or commitments that still need to be fulfilled before you can completely move on to the next stage of your journey. So there you go. I think a lot of your readings this year, Taurus, have been all about you developing confidence, believing in yourself more. So that first card makes a lot of sense. Definitely, probably, the number one thing I think Taurus should be working on the whole year, for sure, because it'll benefit you the most. And we have the Nine of Pentacles here. And the Nine of Pentacles is like pre-Empress energy. And, the Empress is very confident in herself. And she also really nurtures herself. And part of nurturing yourself is believing in yourself, right? So I think that, working on that forever, really, we should probably be gassing ourselves up all the time. But, working on it at least this year is going to be very beneficial for you just in general. You have the Eight of Swords, the King of Pentacles, and the Knight of Wands here. The Eight of Swords can represent feeling a little stuck or trapped, or, it's kind of like my card of only seeing one way to solve a problem when there are many ways to solve a problem. Again, she's stuck in these 8 swords, but she could easily set herself free. There are no swords in front of her, and the whole point of the card is that she's only looking for one solution. It does look like you are going to find a solution. I mean, you have the Six of Wands, you have the Nine of Pentacles. These are good cards, and yeah, you have the Devil at the end, but the Devil's coming up in the good stuff, so I wouldn't even worry about it. But the Six of Wands would be like a victory or having some sort of victory or accomplishment over something. So again, I do think that you could be setting yourself free from anything that's been keeping you stuck recently. It does feel recent to me. So it's like maybe something recently has been making you feel stuck, and I feel whatever that is, you're kind of like releasing it. You have the King of Pentacles, which is you showing up here, Taurus. Whenever you show up as yourself, it puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading, which is great. So I feel for a lot of you that the King of Pentacles is just saying you're showing up in a strong position. I would be careful of wishing that things were the way they used to be a little bit this week with the King of Pentacles. Again, I always say he's not like a bad card at all, but he can represent wealth building, and you have the Nine of Pentacles, which is also great for wealth building. But he can be a little bit stuck in the past, or he can be a little bit hung up on how things used to work in his life, and we're in a very new time. So I feel this is like encouraging you to evolve, grow, learn new things, be willing to learn new things, all that other good stuff. You have the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is a card of going on adventures. And this week, pretty much everyone has had something about needing to be more adventurous. You even have the Three of Wands as well. The other thing about him is that he needs to be more spontaneous or flexible, or he is. But I feel like, with the Eight of Swords, she is not being flexible. She's only seeing one solution to her problem, and she's kind of giving up because she's like, well, I'm stuck, I'm gonna die. The story of the card is that on this card, it's low tide, and she feels like she's stuck, so she thinks she's about to drown because when the tide comes up, she's not going to be able to escape, but she could easily walk forward, right? And so I feel like this is saying there is a way out of anything that you feel stuck in if you are flexible with the Knight of Wands. Also, he can represent spontaneous opportunity. And so there could be just like a random opportunity that comes up that gets you unstuck, that kind of sets you free. And that's what I would be paying attention to with the Knight of Wands, is like any random opportunities or any new directions. Let's see. Here you go. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Ten of Pentacles. I think a lot of people feel like this month, January, obviously. This is like, the second week to last week of January or whatever, or we have like half a week left after this week or something. I don't know. I can't do math. But what I would say here is that the Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire. And I do feel some people have felt like this in January. Like there's something that they want, or there's something you want, and that you might feel like you can never have, or that you're never going to achieve. And I feel like the universe is really telling everybody, no, you can achieve it, but you're going to have to do some new things. You're going to have to move different, in this world that we're in right now. And I would encourage everyone really, but definitely you, to move differently. You have that card that says, do you genuinely believe in your worthiness to attain the abundance you desire. Ten of Pentacles has been your card for years because of Uranus in your sign. Uranus is going to leave your sign, but in April, and around your birth time, basically. And the whole point of the Ten of Pentacles is to build and leave a legacy. That's what Uranus and Taurus wants you to do. So I feel like this is saying it's not over. It's not over yet for you here, Taurus. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Three of Swords. A great week for healing, I would say, for sure. So anything you can do to heal or to kind of like, heal your heart. It could be healing your health. It could be healing pretty much anything. The Three of Swords wants you to remove those swords from your heart. This could also be about self-forgiveness as well. If there are things that you feel like you missed out on in the past, this is about kind of like needing to forgive yourself for that so that you can, focus on what you can accomplish right now. And that's what I would do. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Judgment card. Pretty good. There is something about this week already. I've done almost half the readings now, and there's something about this week as well about like getting answers or feeling a direction. And this right here is your higher self angel. The whole point of this card is that the angel here is calling these people up out of these coffins, and the coffin is their old life. Outside the coffin is their new life. And, the Judgment card can be a card of your purpose. You have the Star as well. The Star is also kind of like a card of having a purpose. This right here is about having a North Star, having that one guiding light, that one thing that you work towards, that one big goal, wish, dream, whatever, kind of like the Ten of Pentacles. So a lot of you could be getting answers this week. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this 11th house card. It says community on it, and you have this Aquarius card. It says collaborate on it. So basically the same thing. I think that it is an amazing time with Pluto in Aquarius to collaborate, to work together with other people, to build a following, to build a community. So if you're doing any of those things, these are very good cards to make that happen as well. I kind of do get this energy. It's kind of funny because normally with the King of Pentacles, I say that we have to evolve, which I still think is true for you. I mean, we're in a time of evolution. We're in a time of great change. We have all these major planets that will be shifting signs relatively soon. So, one today on the 26th, if you're watching this on the 26th, I'm going to be publishing it on the 21st of January. So if you're watching it before the 26th, then on the 26th, Neptune moves into Aries. Saturn on February 13th. We have Jupiter changing signs this year. Last year, or at the end of 2024, I should say, we had Pluto enter into Aquarius officially. So even though that's, a year, it's very short in terms of space. Space is enormous. So a year is nothing, right? So really, it's a very quick amount of time for major planets to all be shifting signs. So it's a time of great change, and, so we need to evolve is what I've been babbling on about here. Sorry. But the other thing I would say with that King of Pentacles is like, I do feel like, especially this is for those of you in like work or business, is like, I feel like there are certain things that just work. And those are the things you need to do. I don't have any really good examples for you here, Taurus, but, it's like, even on YouTube, it's like I teach a lot of people, in my YouTube group about YouTube. And a lot of times I'll tell people to do something and they'll be like, oh, I can't do that. And I'm like, why? Why not? And they come up with some sort of moral justification. They think that what I'm telling them to do is immoral. And it's really never is, number one. And number two, I'm like, yeah, but if you don't do this, everybody else does this, what I'm telling you to do. This is what I always say to these people. Everybody does this, except for you, right? They get millions of views, you get 2. Right? Not a criticism, just saying. So it's like sometimes, and I've done this myself, so it's like sometimes I think we make these justifications for why we can't work a certain way or we can't do something in work. And, part of me feels like that needs to be healed or something with that Three of Swords. And again, it could just be that you're holding yourself back from success. Maybe there's some internal fears of success or whatever, but it's popping into my head as something that you could work on. You have the Nine of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, and the Temperance card. Nine of Pentacles is amazing. The Ten of Pentacles also says that you kind of have this vision for your life. Nine of Pentacles is a little bit different because Nine of Pentacles is about creating heaven on earth. That doesn't mean that you will have heaven on earth. It just means that you're trying to create it. So I think it would be a great time to work on your environment, the energy around you, and create a more positive environment around you. That's always a good thing to do with the Nine of Pentacles. Also, pre-Empress energy. So I do get a little bit of a glow-up vibe for you here, Taurus. It's like you're trying to work on being seen. You have that 11th house card. The 11th house is very good for like fame, fortune, luck even. I think that people forget about that. Everybody says it's the house of community, people you work with, things like that. But again, it is a very lucky house, the 11th house in astrology. And you have the star here, you have the 9 of Pentacles. It's kind of giving me like you have the opportunity to have a little bit of a glow up. One thing I would say is that it wouldn't surprise me if over like the next 7 years you have like some sort of glow up where who you are right now is not who you're going to be 7 years from now. And I'm not saying it's going to take 7 years, but I'm just saying that by the time we get to 2033 or somewhere around there, you could really, that could be when the change really sinks in. I think you're making the change now, but again, that could be the moment. You have the 5 of Pentacles. The 5 of Pentacles can represent feeling left out in the cold. Again, I think all your readings have these cards that really represent more imposter syndrome to me for you, Taurus, where it's like about believing that you're good enough to do something or needing to believe that you're good enough to do something. I just get this like little bit of a holding back feeling for you here with the 5 of Pentacles, where it's like you're holding back a little bit, or it's like you're not doing something that would make you shine, if that makes sense, with the star card. Again, this is not bad. This isn't a criticism. I just feel it's something to work on. It's like maybe you need to ask yourself, why am I holding myself back? Why am I not doing these things that I know I should do that would make me successful in work or business or even like love or whatever it is you're working on in life? Doesn't really matter. But again, I think you need to tell yourself you are good enough, which I'm pretty sure I said last year to you, Taurus. You have the Temperance card. Temperance is like alchemy. I do feel like you're a very powerful manifester right now. We don't really consider the Temperance card to be manifestation, but he kind of is. He is alchemy. Again, he can turn one thing into another, and maybe he can do that with his mind, right? Maybe he can turn a situation around by, again, if you feel like you're not confident enough to do something, maybe you start doing affirmations, right? Start brainwashing yourself into being successful or whatever the case may be. But I would, definitely work on that with that card. With the 9 of Pentacles, you have the 2 of Wands. Yes, you have the 2 and 3 of Wands. When these two cards come up together, they both represent like taking the lead to me. They both can represent kind of like forward progress, especially the 2 of Wands. The 3 of Wands, he kind of needs to make progress. He needs to go somewhere he's never done before, or never gone before. And, again, I think this is like the main theme of your reading is that you are maybe turning into a different person here, Taurus. It's like, you're not holding back anymore. You need to not hold back anymore. I think maybe I did say to you recently that it's like time to unleash the beast. It's time for you to, really be that, very bold, confident, assertive energy that you can be. And that's what I would do with that card. With the 5 of Pentacles, you have the Magician, which is funny because you have the Magician twice right here. The Magician, of course, is about manifestation. We were talking about manifestation with the Temperance card. We have like a little bit of a Magician Temperance sandwich going on right here. So, like I said, definitely true. Also true is the fact that the Magician, the trick that no one talks about, except for me, with the Magician, is that he has this snake wrapped around his waist right here. The snake is the Ouroboros, and it represents reinvention. It's like usually if there's something we want that we don't have, it's because we don't match the energy of what we want. And so the trick with the Magician is to act as if you already are something, but you really, really have to believe it. And that's what I would do with this Magician energy. With the Temperance card, you have the Star. This is turning into a Cancer reading again for you, Taurus. So that's a joke, by the way. I'm talking to you, Taurus. For the people that don't understand jokes, it's a joke. So chill out. The Star twice. Whenever you have a bunch of repeating cards, it's basically the universe saying, I meant what I said. It's like the universe. I look at it as major confirmation. I like readings that have a lot of repeating cards because it kind of says there's just like one thing that you're working on. There's just maybe one thing that you're doing this week. So it makes things less complicated, or it could. But you have the Star. The star is about having a North Star, working towards that goal, having that one guiding light. But I also feel it's time to shine here, Taurus. It's time for you to have like a little bit of a glow up or start moving different. And it could be that simple, right? It's like maybe you don't have to do anything crazy, but maybe if you just start moving differently, then things will change, right? And so that's what I would do there. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this blessed card and this change in the wind card. Yes, big changes. Definitely could be feeling some blessings. You have the star twice and the 10 of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles. These could definitely be some blessings coming in for you this week, which is great. I kind of feel like you need to pay attention to changes at this time. It's almost like you are catching trends, or maybe you have the ability and you don't realize it. That's kind of what's popping into my head with that change in the wind card. It's kind of like, I don't know. That's the best way I can put it. I think you need to pay attention to any trends that you feel like are picking up, right? This could be for anything in your life. It could be in work. It could be in business. It could be health or love or whatever. But there could be some trends that you're noticing. And, capturing those early is going to be very good for you. You have the 6 of Wands, the 3 of Wands, and the Magician, which is, again, very good row here. 6 of Wands is feeling victorious, getting attention. The whole entire reading wants you to get attention from other people, or wants you to stand out or start having a glow up. And again, he's definitely glowing up on this card because he's getting attention from all these people for having a victory. So again, a lot of you, it's like you're going to be having some victories here, and I think you need to keep moving in that direction of those victories. You have the 3 of Wands. Yeah, this time is definitely going to require you to expand. The 3 of Wands, he has to get on these boats and go somewhere he's never been before. And so he is expanding and out into the world, and he needs to step into the unknown and experience new things. He needs to evolve, like I said, with the King of Pentacles, so that he can learn new stuff. And again, definitely after your birth time, after April with Uranus and Gemini, again, I think the number one thing that everybody should be doing is giving themselves more inputs, more information. And someone said to me the other day that more information leads to confusion. And I was like, yeah, true. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't give yourself more information, and we have to learn to work with the energy. I have said in videos in the past that I think Uranus and Gemini is good, but it could be very confusing for people who don't know how to use it. We have to act like a filter. We have to give ourselves more inputs, more information, and then we have to filter that information down by having experiences. I've talked about this before. I wrote an article. You can find it on the Chris Reck website, chrisreck.com. That I talk about how I believe one of the currencies of the future will be experiences, meaning people who just go and have experiences with things that they're learning about and then can share those experiences are going to become very, very, very successful, right? Because we have, the robots are taking over, right? It's like AI can pretty much answer any question, but the one thing it can't do is it can't have an experience. It can't find out what happens if what happens if I dressed up like a dinosaur and did tarot online. It can't really understand what mixing those two things together is. But I could have an experience with it. I could find out, right? And then I could share my experience. That would be my own unique experience. And that's what I would be doing with the 3 of Wands. Again, sitting at home is not good. You have the Magician. You can have whatever you want. We already talked about it here, Taurus. So, again, I do think the Magician is good for you, though. With the 6 of Wands, here you go. You have the Hierophant, which is you. And also, the Hierophant is blessing these 2 people in front of him. So, definitely could be some blessings coming in for you. This can be about you becoming a teacher. That doesn't mean you literally have to teach people. As a matter of fact, I think sitting people down and teaching them is not the best option with Pluto and Aquarius. It is an option. I don't think there's anything wrong with it or anything like that. But the best option is this right here, the star, twice in your reading. The best option is to become a living example, to be a guiding light for other people. And, I've been talking about this forever because I think that people that do it are going to benefit from it greatly. With the 3 of Wands, you have the Fool. Yeah, definitely time to take some sort of risk or leap of faith. The 3 of Wands says you have to take that leap out. He has to leap out to those boats and go on new adventures, explore new ideas. And we're kind of like in a time of iteration is what I keep telling people. It's like I keep telling people, stop trying to be right. It's like you should look at things as if you're just having an experience. Like I said, don't attach any meaning to anything and just see what happens. It's like, again, I think that people who are like looser over the next few years, at least, probably a lot longer, are going to have a better time just saying, I'm just going to look at this as a learning experience. I'm just going to have fun with this idea or whatever, and then go from there. With the Magician, you have the Lovers. Yeah, a little bit of love here. Definitely could be attracting love if you want it. With the Magician, for sure. So if you want love, there you go. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Moth card. It says Surrender Now. I was basically just talking about surrendering and just letting things go and just not attaching anything to any outcome. You have this Turtle Spirit. It says Slow and Steady wins the race. That's Taurus, right? all you Tauruses are turtles, for sure. So, again, I think it has been slow. I think things are about to speed up for you this year, here, Taurus, which is good. You have the Devil, the Star, and the Nine of Wands. Almost everyone has had the Devil this week, I'm pretty sure. What I would say is Neptune leaving Pisces. Neptune in Pisces is like the age of deception. When Neptune leaves Pisces, I've been talking about this since like 2016. You can go back to my old lives on my live tab, separated out by oldest, and I used to say this all the time, that the end of Neptune in Pisces would be the end of the age of deception. It's like the mask is coming off. So, we're all going to be, and again, everybody has had this card. So, I think that there could be some masks coming off, some things being revealed. We're going to see a lot of that over the next few years. It's like, if you think the Diddy case was interesting, or Epstein or whatever, you ain't seen nothing yet. So, again, there's going to be a lot more of that. Mark my words. But on a personal level, this is good because we can, we probably have better X-ray vision with people. It's like we can see, the bad people more faster, maybe, or better, and so trust it. You have the Star. Again, definitely time for you to start glowing up. It does feel like a little bit of a slow glow up, but this is not a bad thing. Again, Uranus and Taurus taught you that you want to build things forever. You want to build things that last forever, could potentially last forever. So if you're building a solid glow up that lasts for the rest of your life, obviously that would be a good thing. You have the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is the Wounded Warrior. Yeah, don't give up. I don't think you would, and it's coming up in the good stuff, but, I just feel like I need to say it to you here, Taurus. I feel like this is saying you need to not give up on something that you really see as special, because it is. I don't even know what the hell it is. But that Star card is like saying to me with the Nine of Wands, there's something that you see as very special, and it is, whatever it is. So I think you know what it is, as I said that, and, I would go towards it. With the Devil, you have the Five of Swords. Again, probably a good thing, because this could be saying that you are getting away from, something that's toxic, or, something that has its mask coming off. With the Star, you have the World. Love it. Yes, I love the World in glow-up readings, and especially this reading. You have like the Three of Wands expanding out into the world. Two of Wands, he has a whole world in his hands. This could say that you're really going to be taking up more space in the world, which is probably what you should be doing right now, especially with that 11th house card. 11th house energy is very good for taking up space in the world, and that could be through sharing your ideas, just being a living example. Like I said, with the Star twice in your reading would definitely be a good idea, and, it's going to be good, and, that's what I would say. It's kind of like one of those things where I think about this a lot. It's like, even if you have a business, for example, I think that in the future, it's like, I come from the marketing world, and I love marketing just because I like, optimizing things, basically. But, what I think is going to happen in the future, or the near future even, is that people aren't really going to have to market themselves because the mask is coming off. And so it's like, if you have something to sell, or like a business, by just being an example in the world, for example, people are just naturally going to gravitate towards whatever you got. And it's like, you're not even going to have to sell it, because the evidence will speak for itself. It's like, if you're building that evidence around yourself, that's all you need. Same thing for love, right? It's like, I think that, being the type of person that is love is like enough. So if you're trying to attract love, and anything else, health, anything you want to be magnetic towards, I would just be that thing. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Four of Swords. Yeah, great time for healing. This week, there's something about this week as well, I think, that would just be good for healing or doing things to heal. So, Take time to heal. You have this teardrops card. It says great personal sorrow. I don't know. I think you should turn that frown upside down here, Taurus. It looks like a very good reading to me. So it's like you could be getting out of that energy. You have this March card, and you have this Angel card. It says spiritual guidance, protection from harm. So you are protected between now and March, probably longer, but love it. You have this Lion. It says time to act. Yes, I do think you could be feeling Jupiter and Leo. Jupiter isn't in Leo yet, but Jupiter will be moving into Leo this year. It actually retrogrades pretty quickly back into Cancer, relatively quickly. And then later on, it moves into Leo officially. But, this could be a good year for action with that Jupiter-Leo energy, even though we're not there yet. You have this dolphin spirit. Says financial gain usually coming from something you did in the past. A lot of people have had messages like this. So, I think with everything moving into Aries, and again, I say I think because I don't really know. I don't know much. So there you go. But what I would say is I don't know. But I think it's the energy moving into Aries because I think Saturn in Aries especially wants us to finish things. And again, Saturn moves into Aries on February 13th. But, if you have like projects or things that you haven't seen through to the end, or, if you feel like you need to put more work into something, it's probably going to be worth it. You have this moon. It says changes in your life. Yeah, we see a lot of change stuff here. So I do think you are going through some big changes here, Taurus, as well. This looks very good. Love it. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment. Really helps me out. And definitely enjoy your week.